wanted to just touch in with people to just describe to you like what's kind of going on from my perspective as someone who is a healing arts professional. If you've been watching my Instagram account and my live videos and stuff, then you know that I've been posting about my experiences as someone who is a healer and as someone who is engaged in the work 100%, basically all the time, which is kind of exhausting. Sorry, I'm sitting in the dark. I'm just tired. And I don't feel like having a lot of lights on. So, yeah. I wanted to share my experience in the last couple of days. It's been really fascinating. There's been a lot of really interesting synchronicity. I have been feeling that there's some really big shifting happening, and I've gotten some confirmation from some colleagues and from the guidance that they've been working with that indeed something pretty big is happening. And I was saying earlier today in the video that I ended up deleting that I'm not sure if it is related to the celestial stuff that's going on, because Venus is, I think Venus is going retrograde, or yeah, we're in the storm period for Venus right now. And there's also some like other celestial stuff that's going on. There's a really good report that's out by Nadia Shah on YouTube, and she's done a couple of Venus reports in the last like couple of weeks. I highly suggest watching them. She's a great educator and she's really easy to understand, and she like clearly like loves what she does. So if you're not watching the Kaipatra or the Pele report with Kaipatra or finding another source, Nadia Shah has been a go-to for me recently, and she's just like awesome. So yeah, Venus is going retrograde, but I don't know if it's that. I also kind of intuitively feel like there's something going on with some sort of electromagnetic current that's in relation to the photon band that the planet entered in the last few years. And so I kind of feel like there's photon band energy that is messing with us. And I did post earlier today some of the grids that I had taken pictures of in some sessions in the last few weeks, and wrote a little bit about how my personal experience is that there's a massive, massive recapitulation at the DNA and the DNA level of the cellular structure that we're going through right now. And people are feeling this in different ways. My experience has been, especially in the last like 10 days, I've been super, super tired, and it's been coming in waves. And I've just been, I got like dead ass tired last week out of the blue. I knew I was gonna get my moon cycle, and so I was like expecting to be a little bit tired, but like holy shit, I fucking broke out like I haven't broken out in a long time, which was another weird thing. And I was super, super tired. And I've had experiences in the past where I've gone for like weeks, it just seems like forever, where everything kind of has like a really surreal quality to it, and I'm doing the thing and I'm living my life and I'm, working and getting places, but it's like there's like weird sort of there's a weird dreamy quality, that I've noticed in the past can last for a long time, and it can be disconcerting for people. For me, because I work so closely with my guidance and I trust them implicitly, what they told me was that you're just like going through transition and going through transformation, and it's going to feel weird in your body, and there's going to be some disconnect as things are being moved around and coming offline and coming back online. So that seems to be one of the things that's going on now that I've noticed with myself and with clients that I've been working on, and information that I've been getting from colleagues and friends, is that there's something big that we're getting ready, some sort of big shift that we're getting ready for, and we're kind of in it. And it's going to make us really, really tired. So some people get like really freaked out when they get super tired because they're not used to resting, and we just keep pushing and pushing and pushing ourselves. But it's really important to remember that there's no end goal with healing, and this is what I wrote today in my post on my on my Instagram page. So many people think that there's a point in which you have this thing that you're going to get to, and then when you get there, you're done with it. And that's not how that works. It's much more expansive than that because there's layers, right? And like we circle back around, if you want to think about spirals, right? If something is spiraling, you're circling around, and but you're moving upward, right? So as you're circling around, as you're moving upward, you're gaining a higher vantage point, which gives you more information, and you're moving through a healing process. And sometimes you move like, in big leaps, and sometimes you're kind of circling around and like not making a whole lot of progress, or not seeming to make a whole lot of progress. Obvious progress, but you are, trust me. And so, so my point in bringing that up is that we have to get out of the mindset of thinking that we're going to be finished with our healing process at some point. We're not. And once we get used to that idea, then we can really like immerse ourselves in things and not feel like we have to rush, right? Because people want to rush through healing. They want to rush through the experience, partly because they just want to get done with it and then get to the next thing, but partly because they don't really want to feel all of the things, and it's scary, right? And it can be lonely, because a lot of this work you do by yourself. And that was a very uncomfortable thing for me for a really, really long time. I didn't like to do, I like to be solitary. I like being by myself. I'm independent, but I struggled with not having someone who was going to sort of be by my side through this process. Specifically like a significant other. That's not really what I'm here to talk about, but my point is that, again, this process is multi-layered and multifaceted, and you do get to end points within your process where you're like, oh, okay, like here's like an aha moment where I like realize now that this, pattern that I have just like resolved itself, or I've shifted and I don't have the same kinds of reactions that I was having in the past to the same stimulus. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So that's how we notice, one of the ways that we can notice change. And so right now, because maybe it's a photon band thing, maybe it's a celestial body thing, maybe it's something completely different. Maybe the government has a death ray going and it's just fucking with everybody right now. I don't know. Doesn't necessarily feel that way to me, mainly because things are kind of coming in waves. And I've been, like I said, I was super tired. I slept for like 36 hours between this past Sunday and Tuesday. I got up for like 4 or 5 hours on Monday night to order pizza and watch a movie and go back to sleep. So, but I felt fucking great after I finally got that rest. And what followed was a day of like really incredible synchronicity. And I don't know if you guys were watching my Instagram story at all, but like, it was just crazy. I left my house. I immediately saw a license plate that had 888 on it. I was trying to cross the street, couldn't, walked up by the store, saw this sign that was like, your journey is unfolding exactly as it should be. I ended up running into this guy that I had kind of been seeing, and like this girl he told me he wasn't seeing anymore. So that put a stop to that very quickly. And I was like, all right, you can fuck right off. And I continued on my way. I was going down to the farmer's market. So I like went down and got coffee at Bard. Who do I fucking run into at Bard? Misha Collins from fucking Supernatural. And like, that was like a huge sign to me. It's like, he's a fucking angel. Like he actually kind of like literally is an angel in real life too. Like it's kind of cool. Anyway, I met him. That was a huge sign. I bopped through the farmer's market. Still, you know, like my heart hurts because this guy that I had kind of been seeing had a really interesting connection. And it was like weird how we were connected. I was not expecting it. It actually resolved something for me that I had been like holding on to for like literally almost 20 years from a dream that I had a long time ago. And I'm going back and forth about whether I want to make a video about it, because it's going to end up being kind of a longer video to tell that story. But it's such a fucking crazy, interesting story. But it like ends like with this like tragedy. So anyway, that's not really what I'm here for right now. So the synchronicity like just continued. The session work that I had like with people in the afternoon was like, again, bringing in techniques and working with things in new and inspiring ways with some distance clients, and getting some really incredible results with them and getting some great feedback. I ended up having a short conversation with my bestie, and then I ended up going back and buying that thing that I like posted a picture of in my story. The journey is exactly as it should be unfolding or whatever. So I got that hang on my wall. So when I go to buy it, it's like right up at the store up the street from me. And then I come back, on the way back, I see a license plate that's 333, which is my number. So again, just like thing after thing, like everything was falling into place the other day, and it's kind of been continuing, which is really interesting. But, but then like, I stayed up until 3 a.m. last night because I was like wired, and it just so happened that there was a friend on Insta who was like in need of some help. So we ended up chatting at like 1 a.m. So I guess that's what I was up for. And then today I get home from the gym and I'm like fucking exhausted again. So that's what I meant by it's coming in waves. And I wanted to just like let you guys know that whatever it is that you're feeling, don't dismiss it. Something's going on in your system. And if you can, listen a little bit more deeply to what it is that your body is telling you, and try and discern how you can best support yourself as you're going through this like reorganization or recapitulation that's happening in your system right now. It's to your benefit. And when I was sleeping the other day, like all day on Monday, I kept like, you know, periodically waking up and just sort of like moving around. And but I was aware the entire time that like there were different beings that were coming in and working with me at different points. And that's not the first time that's happened. I know I get worked on, a lot when I'm sleeping, and I used to even more when I was in a different place in my healing experience and kind of in school, if you will. I was working a lot with Metatron, and he was working on me while I was sleeping. And that was really fascinating because I was he was transferring my healthy DNA to aspects of myself in other realms that I was connected to that were ill. And one of my selves was actually about to die. And that was actually interesting because he took some of my energetic DNA and gave it to this alternate self, and I got to see, I could feel it happening and got to see like who this person was and like where they were. And they were in a recovery center, and I ended up taking on some of the illness and I got sick. But part of the reason why was because there had to be that energy exchange, or there would have been a disruption between like all of the selves that exist, because this one self wasn't really supposed to die. So anyway, off on a tangent. To bring it back, what we're experiencing now is some sort of group recapitulation. I don't think that this is happening for everybody. That feels really clear to me. I think it's, you know, varying degrees that people are experiencing this, but there are people who have been sort of engaged excuse me, in the work to some degree over the last, like, you know, I don't know, decade or two. And something is shifting. And I don't like using that word because it gets overused, but that's like what's happening. And I don't have much more to sort of clarify that, except that it's really, really obvious to me. And I imagine it's obvious to you guys, even though you might be trying to dismiss it as, oh, I'm just tired, or, oh, I'm just overworked, or, you know, I'm not eating right, or whatever. And so thinking about self-care, things that have been helping me a lot, I have been using pyrite like crazy on all of my clients. It's one of the stones out there that helps or holds all of the sacred geometry coding. And so you can use it to help your body acclimate. And one of my colleagues channeled in some information that she shared with me this morning, which was, and I completely agree with her and had gotten sort of my own version of this, which was that the body, and I know I've talked to some of you guys about this stuff before, and I've probably mentioned it in other videos, the body is the slowest aspect of our energetic system to acclimate to any change. So, you know, you've got physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, right? So mental, emotional, and spiritual can shift fairly easily, but the physical body has a really hard time and needs time, which we don't give it. We are impatient, and we've gotten really used to the whole like mind over matter experience where we like force ourselves to do things, or we force our body to keep going, or we force ourselves to adhere to different diets. So that we are in control of our body. But right now, the body really needs for you to recognize that it needs some time to process these things through. And whatever it is that you're worried about getting done, it will get done. Just like, I mean, I friggin' slept all night and all day on Monday into Tuesday, but I was like super productive on Tuesday, and productive on Wednesday, you know, so I got a bunch of shit done really, really quickly, but then I'm getting tired again. So I know I'm trying to like get to bed fairly soon, but I wanted to make this video just to let you guys know, that, whatever it is that you're experiencing, just keep checking in with yourself and don't dismiss it. There's definitely a recapitulation that's happening. The body is catching up with all of the progress that you've been making over the last several years. And it's going to be a little bit different for each of us, right? Because we all have different natal charts, and we all have different agreements and contracts and karmic influences that are unique to us, that are influencing the life that we're living and the way that we're living it. And so it's very much a personal experience. So keep that in mind as you're noticing what's happening, as you're noticing like what you're being challenged by, as you're working through all of the material that you're working with, and trust yourself, that you're going to have the resources that you need, that you're going to have the time that you need, that you're going to have the space that you need, and the support. It will show up. We just have to trust that it will do that. And I know that sounds kind of like new agey bullshit, but it's fucking true. Like, I don't know how else to say that, because like it literally is like how like my life has been for quite a while now. And it took some getting used to, right? To change my perspective and not try and be like fucking holding life in a fucking chokehold and trying to like eke out whatever I wanted from it. But once I let go, there's been an ease and a fluidity and a lot less stress. So, and the biggest thing, as I say, you've heard me say it before, I'm going to keep saying it, I'm going to keep posting about it, is that we need more rest than we're comfortable with. And it's been drilled into us not to rest and not to take care of ourselves. But if we can do that, then we're going to have the energy to keep going. And we need to keep going because this is going to be a long experience of interesting challenge, and we're made for this. This is what we came here for. But we have to remember that we got to pace ourselves, right? We don't want to burn out. And, this is a long game. So yeah, use some pyrite if you have it. You can also like just ask whatever guidance you're working with to like bring in pyrite energy for your body. So that while you're sleeping or, throughout your day, if you just want to like a little like sparkly, like glittery pyrite dust on you, just ask your guides for that. And that will help to rejuvenate your system. But if you want to carry a piece with you, by all means. I am going to be doing a pyrite galactic sound bath at Arcana on the 22nd of this month. So I know that there's spots available because we just posted about it last week. So if y'all want to get on that, you should go over to or call up Arcana and save your spot because there's only 13 spots. And that'll be a really awesome event. I'm super, super excited about it. Got some cool plans that I'm working out. So pyrite, lots of rest. Give yourself fucking permission to rest. Stop guilting yourself for taking rest. Drink extra water because our bodies are becoming more electric. Our physical body is becoming more electric. So we need water in our system. Just trust that, even if you're tired for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, like it's because you're resetting. Like this is how it happens and this is how it works. And you just have to let go and not be scared. Trust me, I spent years being tired and it's a lot more complicated than that. But I literally was like exhausted for years and years because of the work that I was doing. And I remind people that it's okay to be tired, and it's okay to rest. But you have to rest without feeling guilty and fearful. And that's the hard part, right? You have to get out of the habit of worrying or thinking about what you could be doing or resting while you're like working on your computer in bed. Like that's not rest. You have to like literally just rest and not do anything. You can maybe watch a movie, you can maybe read a book, but really what you need to be doing is like kind of just laying around looking at the ceiling or like looking out of a window. It's called convalescence. If you are unfamiliar with convalescence, I suggest you look it up. It's pretty fascinating, and there's something to it. So I'll leave off there. Convalescence. Make it your friend. Y'all know you can hit me up if you have questions. If you want to schedule a session with me to get a little boost, get a little pyrite boost, by all means, hit me up. But definitely sign up at the Arcana Pyrite Sound Bath on the 22nd. And stay looking out for my posts because I'll be trying to post, information about anything that seems relevant and make videos and yada, yada, yada. I just posted, for anybody who missed it, a video from a few weeks ago. That's just a continuation of like my experiences as a healer as I'm going through the processes. And I was talking a lot about grief. And I was talking a lot about the ways in which I was processing a big session that I had and the energy around my birthday, which was a couple of weeks ago. So just pay attention to what you're noticing. Try not to attach to what you're experiencing and just notice that it's happening. Stay curious, stay inquisitive, and remember that whatever it is that you're feeling, it will change. The only constant is change, right? So don't try not to step into fear or allow fear to sort of lock you into being overly concerned about an ache or a pain or, again, being really tired or, whatever else that you might be experiencing. This is really literally just your body trying to adjust to incredible waves of energy that you're experiencing and you're becoming more sensitive. So, convalescence, you're getting sensitive. but you're also a love warrior, and you came here to be shiny and to be amazing, and I love you for it, and I'm glad that you're here. And I know that there are many other people who are glad that you were here also. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go night-night because I'm fucking done. And I'll come at you again with something else really soon. I hope you have a great rest of the night, and that you carry this information forward to your friends and family and colleagues, and let them know that, yeah, we're just going through a recapitulation, and it won't ever be totally over, but we will get to an end point and step into the next thing, whatever that is, and it will be amazing. Okay. I love you. Good night.